What's up, Typebot Discord group? My name is Neff, and I wanted to share some thoughts on a Typebot that I'm building that helps you create a resume and a cover letter that's customized to the job posting that you want to apply for. It's just a personal thing that I'm working on, but I thought it would be useful to the group to share some thoughts um, about the bot and kind of like some issues that I'm kind of coming across. Not bugs, but just kind of use case issues. And first, before I jump in, I wanted to give thanks to Baptiste because I'm building on top of a template that he shared with the group. I think it's the high ticket follow up. So, that in particular opened up my eyes. It planted the seed on how I can use JSON and how it can interact with capturing data from GPT, which is super useful. That led me to have a look at function calls within OpenAI. So under tools, there's a function element or component. So you could kind of poke around and have a look for yourself. But that really changed the way that I look at how you can interact with GPT to send kind of structured data to other tools. So in any case, what I'd like to do is just kind of show you what I'm just wrenching on. This is pretty much for fun. And I'm not sure if I'm going to release this to the public because there's kind of some things that I need to work out first. But in any case, let me go through the chatbot flow, and then I'll show you, like a sample cover letter and resume that the GPT just spit out. So here we have something super simple, right? So we start off with pasting the resume as text. A quick thought here. I thought it would be interesting to upload the document, but the issue that I came across is, well, how do you parse that document? If it's a PDF or if it's like a dot doc file or something else. I think there might be some ways to get around that, but for the sake of simplicity, I just created just a simple copy and paste. So once the user pastes their resume, then we jump into the OpenAI block. So here's the prompt, and the prompt is a huge part of it. You have to be super clear, and again, this is where I'm building on top of what Batish gave us in the template, right? So just kind of reading through the prompt, the system prompt. You are an assistant that generates JSON. You always return JSON with no additional description or context. Based on the resume content provided by the user, update the JSON below. Your answer should match this JSON schema. So to get the schema, I went to ChatGPT, uploaded my resume, and asked it to create a JSON schema. So it was super simple. And this is what it came up with. So it's very precise, right? It gives like the type of key value and so forth. So this was useful. So this is in a sense like the template, right? For capturing the resume data. And then the next message is the user passing in what they pasted in terms of their resume content. So I save that as a variable, and then I save the response as a resume schema. So the next step is in order to customize or tailor that resume to a particular job posting, which is a huge pain in the ass, which prompted me looking into this. The user does the same thing. They go to the job posting, copy and paste it as text, and then put it in here. It would be wonderful to be able to scrape the particular link to the job posting, but that's like an advanced use case in my opinion. So same thing applies here, right? So we capture the job posting text, and let me open up the next OpenAI block. So here we're saying you are a resume expert and assistant that generates JSON. You always return JSON with no additional description or context. Based on the job posting provided by the user, update the JSON of the resume provided so the job candidate is highly desired for an interview. So we're asking it to optimize the previous resume content to be more tailored for the job posting. And then we finish off with your answer should match the JSON schema and update the existing values. So here we're passing in the resume schema, right? So this is the resume in JSON form. And then the user is passing in the pasted text, right, from the job posting. Then we save this as resume updated schema. And then from here, what I need to do, kind of took me a while to figure this one out, but in order to pass the JSON object into a different service, so I'm using Google Apps Script to kind of do the logic, and I'll explain a little bit more about that in a moment, but you need to parse it before it's actually useful, for it to be read in the Google Apps Script side. I'm not entirely sure how that works exactly, but again, thanks to Baptiste's template, that kind of gave me the idea, like, oh, like he's parsing it here. Maybe I should try to parse it. And some other hints that I got was that the error messages, right? So you pop the error message in GPT, and it'll kind of tell you a little bit more about, what's kind of getting hung up in that API call to the other service, which is Google Apps Script. So here we parse it, right? We parse the JSON, and then we make an API post request to Google Apps Script. So this is where it gets way more technical. So you'll notice there's this base URL here. So what I had to do was I had to go to the Google Cloud Console and then enable some APIs for not only Google Docs, but also for Google Drive and Google Apps Scripts. So those were the three APIs that I had to enable. And as it turns out, you don't need the API key, which I thought was kind of interesting. So that's where it kind of gets a little uncertain, right? It seems like this is kind of publicly accessible. I'm not sure if that's something that you'd want to do on your app or on your Typebot. But in any case, I thought I'd share that a little bit with you guys. It seemed to work just fine without an API key. However, you still need to enable the APIs to use this base URL. And then also there's kind of services that that the script interplays with, right? So it has to create the files, so that's Google Drive, and then it also has to create the doc, which is Google Docs, and also send emails and stuff, which I'll get to in a bit. But I'm not exactly sure where the boundaries are for having to enable those APIs in order for those other services to work. So I'm not quite sure how that works. But kind of moving along here, you do pass in the headers. So you'll see it's just content type application JSON. And then for the body, I just brought in the resume JSON. And this is where I parse the JSON in the previous step in Typebot. So then, this is something really, really important. I'm not sure if this is a bug, but something that I noticed is that when you test a request, I got a lot of, I think it was request timeout issues or errors. I think it was like request 500. And it looks like an error here in Typebot. However, I noticed that the script was actually firing and I was receiving emails, which was really cool. So I'll report that over to support just to kind of cover that one off. But I was just testing, trying to figure out the error message, while in the background I was getting emails into my inbox. So that was surprising. So that's pretty much the flow for the resume. So let me show you what the resume looks like. So maybe I should kind of start from the last part and kind of work my way backwards, so you can kind of see what it looks like. So this is it. It's clean. It's not perfect. There are some issues, right? So when you're dealing with GPT, you're kind of letting them do the lifting, right? So the main objective I was trying to get to was get me almost to the finish line. Like, create the document, fill in all the things that you think I should fill in or update on my resume, and then I'll scan my resume and then remove or update things that I think are necessary, right? So for instance, like this isn't it, but there was another document where it brought in web technologies that I have zero experience with, right? So that's something I probably wouldn't put in my resume because I couldn't speak to something I've never used. But that's what it's trying to do, right? GPT is trying to make you the best candidate for that position. So it's trying to kind of elevate your resume, and sometimes it just kind of makes shit up, right? So you have to edit it and kind of figure out what to take out or what to remove. Another thing is on the formatting side, like sometimes it just makes it longer. So I like to have my resume as a one pager. So there's things that you'd have to kind of you'd have to edit. I think there's ways to kind of get there. Like maybe you can tell it, all right, I just want max 3 bullet points per job, or maybe flip for like the summary, like max 350 characters or 65 words. That's it. That needs to. I found that I had to. The results weren't that great. Sometimes it would just like kind of misread my instruction. So I'd have to be like more precise. So that's a part where you just have to kind of go back and forth. And I've created like 85 different resumes, so just trying to get this thing to work. And I'm still not at a place where I feel really satisfied, where I can really depend on this thing for the output that I'm looking for. So that's something to keep in mind. And then also something with just my lack of understanding with Google Doc is some of these like little formatting things that are complete mystery to me. Like for example, well, I'll share with you the template. So here's a template, right? So once Typebot captures the information from the user, like the resume, the job title, it puts it in a JSON friendly format, and then it makes a post call over to Google Apps Script. This template that you see here are the placeholders to inject that information, right? So you'll notice here that I put 9 in here, and there's probably a smarter way to do this. There's probably a much smarter way to do this. Kind of a side note, as the idea just kind of popped in my mind. Maybe what I need to do is just create like a for loop and just loop all the experience values until there's no more. Because the issue, kind of going back to what I was talking about, the issue is that I think I have 6 listed experiences. So then it kind of leaves like these 3 little spaces in the document, which you probably won't detect, but every line matters on this resume, trying to make it a one pager. So if I go over to non-printing characters, you'll see these here. And it kind of drives me a little crazy knowing that they're there. But maybe that for loop would fix the issue. But in any case, this is a version that I felt good about. It's definitely not perfect, but there's definitely room for refinement. So that's a resume piece. And then the cover letter is just way more simple. So if I go over to the cover letter template, you can see that it's literally just asking GPT to create a cover letter based off of the information that you provided it. So let's go to the OpenAI block. So yeah, it's here. So if we head over to the prompt, and I think the prompt could be much better, but it says, you are a cover letter expert and assistant that generates JSON. You always return JSON note with no additional description or context based on the resume and job posting provided by the user. Create a compelling reason from the perspective of the user on why a hiring manager should consider interviewing the candidate. Keep your answer to 3 paragraphs max. Your answers should match the JSON schema and update the existing values. So I literally just passed in like one key to bring in that summary, that cover letter content, and it looks like this. I was looking for 3 paragraphs. I think the issue is being like a little bit more instructive, or providing like more clear direction on creating spacing in my prompt. And you'll notice like it's not like, this is something I would not send out. Like I would not refer to myself in this way and in the third person, right? However, the rest of it sounds good. Like it's actually something where I was like, oh, this is decent. I'd like for it to be a little longer. Um, and yeah, I still have a lot of room to play with here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Definitely a lot of back and forth with fine tuning the GPT prompts to get the output that you're looking for. The other part I think that's key is leveraging Google Apps Script. So I was trying to do what Google Apps Script is doing within Typebot, and I couldn't figure out how to do that. And maybe it's just my lack of understanding or trying to figure out how to do it on the technical side, but I couldn't quite figure out how to make it happen. And Google Apps Script I think is more set up for doing more complex stuff. Like for example, what I wanted to do in the resume builder is, after it creates, fills in all the placeholders, it creates a document, saves a document. I want to email that over to the job candidate, right? So it handles that part here in Google Apps Script, and also something like little details here, like share the document with the user. I have zero idea how to do that with Typebot. Again, maybe it's possible, but here it's just way easier to do it. And I feel like there's more documentation on how to figure stuff like this out. But yeah, that's why I kind of decided to create the logic in AppScript rather than Typebot. Yeah, that's it. So this is just kind of sharing what I've been working on. It's been fun, a lot of trial and error. Hope it's useful for anyone in the group that's looking to do something similar. And yeah, if you have any questions, shoot them over. Be happy to exchange thoughts, and I'd love to get your feedback. So thanks for putting up with the rambling, and I'll catch you in the next one.